We got pushed back.
All right, Coach, whenever you're ready about Saturday's game.
Yeah, pretty simple. We tell the team all the time, the team makes the least mistakes wins. And, you know, we had a much better week of preparation, week of practice. We knew that the threat that the opponent posed with that we felt like that this would be one of the better defenses that we would see all season. They are good up front. They're experienced behind it. They don't make mistakes, and so you've got to beat them. And in the situation that we were in, you know, we start off the game good. Start off the game with a stop, then coming out of it, get the ball back in plus territory, and you feel like, okay, well, let's go, and we turn it over. And then once we turn it over for a couple series, we didn't play very well on defense. And, you know, then we get the ball inside the 1 yard line in the third quarter and go a quarterback sneak and get a procedure penalty. So these are mistakes that good football teams don't make, and these are mistakes that 0-2 teams do make. And we're 0-2, and we've made those mistakes, and we have to own it. And that's where we're at.
Hey, what is the identity of this team?
Well, the identity of this team is the fact that right now you have some experience, you know, with you know, some guys defensively and this, that, and the other. We missed Isaac White today. That's one player with some experience. We've got experience at different positions, but we also have some inexperience, you know, in certain things. Receiver-wise, we're largely inexperienced, you know, and so there's a growth curve that still has to happen with a lot of players. I think that's what happened last week, is we had some inexperienced guys that all of a sudden we got hit in the mouth and we didn't really know how to adjust and handle it. And this week we were much better in the moment. We played better. We practiced better. We did everything, you know, the way that we're going to need to do. The issue that we told the team all week long was the fact that, hey, you know, we could practice and prepare better and be in a much better mind space and be ready to go. And it still doesn't mean that in the first quarter we're going to be up 17-0. You know, like we're going to have to play 60 minutes. We had everything that we wanted in this game to win the game. I mean, we had controlled field position the entire second half, played good defense the entire second half, and just got in our own way on offense and couldn't get anything done.
Speak about your defense in that second half. What kind of adjustments did you guys make to be able to blank them? And then, you know, on the other side, what happened with offensive adjustments?
Well, the number one adjustment, we just played better. You know, I mean, that's the number one adjustment. And I think that's something that, you know, and look, we're going to have, I mean, we had some guys that made some plays in the second half that didn't make some of those plays in the first half. We knocked them back in the second half more than what we did in the first half. And I think that, you know, after the turnover, we allowed them to score the touchdown there. And then for a couple series, we played on our heels defensively and just didn't attack. We were too high with pad level, stuff like that. You know, and those are things there too. You got Burt and Ole, and then you got a bunch of guys that are young inside too. And so we're caught in the moment a little bit where we've got the balance of some guys that are experienced, but we got some inexperienced, so we got to get better. And right now we're not executing at a high enough level, and that's coaching. And we got to go back and get, you know, another week better and improve as we go.
I haven't seen the final numbers, but it looked like you guys got the run game established pretty well today.
I mean, it wasn't where we needed it, though. I mean, early on, yes. Early on, I thought that I think there was a point right around halftime or maybe even early in the third quarter that we were averaging close to 5 yards a carry, but it just never was anything that we were able to sustain anything. I mean, there was a couple drives there that we got the ball near midfield and you know, we're in a situation where, you know, we run the ball, and we're still faced with 3rd and 5. You know, we never made enough progress in it. You know, look, we got to make some plays too. We're in a situation at times where we've got guys that, you know, out in space one-on-one, and we got to win. And right now we're not winning. And you know, that's, you know, it's all the way through. And it's, you know, like we told the team, we all have to stick together. We all have to get better. Coaches included. It's you know, it starts with me. We can't have, you know, crap that happens like when the ball's inside the 1 yard line, you have a false start penalty. Like it's just that's inexcusable. It can't happen, and you know, those are things that we've got to address.
Jay, what are your biggest takeaways about Evan's play today?
I mean, he fought. I mean, he did. There's some good things, but there's a couple overthrows in there. We got to, he's got to continue to develop and get better. It's his third start. And again, look, it's his third start, and everybody was all excited about his first start a year ago. And if it wasn't for Harrison Whaley breaking a 65-yard touchdown run, we scored 3 points. So it wasn't like he went down and shredded Texas, okay? So we still have a lot of development to do there, and including in the guys that are in the perimeter playing with him. And, which is a largely, a new group, and we have to continue to push and get better. And we've got a ton of work to do. We're not good enough right now. And we've played, a very upgraded Arizona State team, and this is a good football team. I mean, there's not they knocked the crap out of Oregon's offense last week. This is a good, solid defensive football team. They've got size, they've got experience. And, we weren't at a high enough level execution-wise to win regularly enough to score enough points to win.
Last drive started at 50. You got to be feeling pretty confident that you guys are going to find a way to go win that game. Have you ever seen anything like that in your life?
That was a bunch of crap. I mean, I'm disappointed in the execution on that. There's a couple things in there. One thing is we've got a play that's not even a play where all we're trying to do is draw the defense off sides, right? And we did on one of those, right? We had where they got an offside and basically it's a no play, and we're just trying to clap, and if they jump, we snap the ball and throw it deep, okay? Well, for 2 straight weeks, we've jumped on that play too, okay? And we're not even running a play, right? So it's just, there's some things inexcusable execution-wise that, again, like we all have to look in the mirror, coaches-wise, player-wise, everything else. But it's a good group. It's a team that is close. But we have to remain that. And that's the challenge right now when you're in a situation where you have a game like this that you really had all the chances served up to you to win. The whole fourth quarter, we've got the ball at plus territory, and we don't get that touchdown. And that's including starting in the third quarter when we've got the ball inside the 1 yard line, and next thing you know, it's back at the 5.5. And so, again, team makes the least mistakes wins. Credit to Idaho. They did a great job. They didn't make a lot of mistakes. In the second half, they kind of relied on their defense and went conservative mode offensively a little bit too. So that way they didn't expose them to turnovers and that type of thing. I thought we did play better defensively in the second half and got off to a good start and carried it forward. And we're going to have to lean on that part a little bit more. We're going to have to win games defensively and do some of that. We got to come along as a team offensively, and it's disappointing, and that's where we're at.
You talk about DJ Jones and kind of how he's filling in, obviously. Can you kind of just like some takeaways from him?
Yeah, I mean, DJ started off the game, I think, in the right place, and then he was battling some illness stuff as the second half went on. I just didn't think he had as much juice in the second half as what he did in the first half. I thought he had a little bit more to him in the first half. But DJ's a really good player. He's a really good person. He's been a good fit for our team and our locker room. But just was having a little bit of issue in the second half, and that's why he was, wasn't out there as much, in the second half to it. But we're going to need him to play well going forward. We're still, a few weeks away from, any help there. DeWyan was back today, but also dislocated his thumb. And so, it was one of those things that we're going to now have to go back next week and see, his ball security ability with a thumb. And I wasn't going to find that out in the middle of the third quarter, but let's see how he handles the football with a bad thumb. So
Evan's going to get a ton of flack, obviously, again. Did you ever think about going to Caden, and are his wide receivers even getting open?
Well, I mean, I think that we got to look at the whole picture, right? And I think that there's that'll be something that we've got to look at. I'm not going to, sometimes I can say, well, this guy's not open, and then look at it and maybe they were in cover 2 on a snap or something like that too. But so we're going to have to look at that and take a really deep evaluation of okay, who at those positions are giving us the best chance to win, best chance to be successful to help Evan. okay? And yeah, Evan's going to take a lot of flack, but it's, you know, I mean, it is what it is, you know, I mean, and he understands that, and I feel for him that he's got to take that. If we don't jump off sides at the half-yard line and all we need is a field goal in the fourth quarter to win the game, there's a whole different approach to it. And so, you know, we'll continue to support him, continue to stick with him. You know, I mean, look, Caden continues to improve and everything that way. But, you know, I mean, again, I said it on Monday, Evan Sabota is going to be a good quarterback at Wyoming. You know, when that day is, I think we're all going to be happy with that result. But, you know, there's things that he can improve on, and there's things that we're going to have to help him with. So,
how do you feel about the offensive play calling and then, in turn, the offensive decisions made on the field?
Well, I mean, the play calling part, you know, I think we'd have to go back and look. But, I mean, you know, for example, we have a screen that in the fourth quarter that we're going to get the ball inside their 35-yard line. Jamari makes a nice run on it. We get a holding penalty. I thought that was a shady call, you know what I mean, because I thought it was a bailout for the defense, but it was called, and it is what it is. So we don't get a holding call there. Good call, right? We get a holding call there. It's not a good call, right? So, you know, I think Coach Johnson understands that part of it. And, you know, look, you go quarterback sneak inside the 1-yard line. Okay, even if you get stoned on it, it's second and goal inside the one. The one thing that can't happen is a guy jump off sides. And, you know, so am I going to blame the play call on that? No, it's the execution. You know, that's the thing, is that all the calls can be good calls. We got to execute better, and we got to play better, and those types of things there. And we got to look and see who gives us the best chance at success, who needs to continue to improve. And, you know, that's where we're at. But we've got to support the quarterback, and we got to, you know, look at everything there. But right now we're not in a situation, again, in the first 2 games that we've played against, you know, again, I think the team we played last week had an upgraded defense. You know, they were solid a year ago when they were, you know, intact. And this is a pretty good defensive football team. We're not creating any big plays, which is, you know, a lot of times a sign that we're not making people miss tackles, and we're not creating enough separation in the perimeter, right? So there's a lot of things that go into it.
With BYU here next week, I mean, how do you want to see this team kind of respond to this Olympic?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to have to, you know, get better each day in practice like what we did this past week. This past week was a really good week, you know, and I think what happened was we went down there a week ago and had a mix of some guys that felt, you know, and admittedly, and some of the players had kind of told me, they thought they were a little bit better than what they were. Some guys that were experienced and didn't play well. And then we had some of our inexperienced guys that in the moment, that once it got like, whoa, that we didn't respond as well. So they came back this past week, practiced well, you know, prepared well. We improved. I felt we were a better football team this week than what we were a week ago. We didn't get the result we wanted. And the only way that we won't be a better football team next week than what we were this week is if we don't prepare and practice as well as what we did now. You know, but that's where we're at. You know, I mean, we've got to, you know, we got to continue to improve, you know, offensively. You know, we do. The difference, in a sense, you know, last year we beat Appalachian State, 22-19. We had to block a kick and run it back for a touchdown and do that. We should have lost that game, right? I mean, we didn't perform well offensively on that and some things. So, I mean, look, there's growth that still has to happen in the program. This isn't, you know, we didn't average 39 points a game last year and come back this year and struggle, right? We still have to grow and improve, and we will.
That's good.
What positives did you see today? I answered that question last week.
You know, positive-wise, I think that there was positives. I think that we were, you know, I liked the response that we had defensively in the second half. I thought that was a positive. I thought there was some things in situationally offensively where we handled, you know, pretty well, you know, but it just wasn't enough, right? You know, I mean, you go look at it, we had a 4th and 1 in the first half at their 35-yard line, get stoned. Okay, so, you know, if we're in a position where we can, you know, I mean, like, get that first down, and even if we don't score a touchdown, we're in a much better field goal range. We go in at halftime at 17-13. You know, we make our mistake inside the 5, okay, it's 17-16, and maybe a field goal wins the game. And we can manage that a whole lot different. So, you know, there's positives in how we competed through the whole game, but our execution level has to get so much better for us to get the results that we all want. And I'm frustrated with it. I own it. There's not going to be any finger point to anything else. We have to get better. Our execution is not good enough. We're executing like an 0-2 football team.
How did you feel about Andrew Johnson's performance today, especially with Isaac White being out?
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to go back and look. I mean, I thought he had a few good plays in there that I saw, but there was also a blown coverage, you know, in the first half that, you know, I mean, look, when you're a safety, you're in charge of the communication, and we about gave up a touchdown. They overthrew the guy. You know, so, but, you know, at least I can tell you, there wasn't plays that happened because of where I looked at and was, oh, is Andrew Johnson's fault here. So, you know, there must have been enough of it that he was solid in. You know, we'll go back and look at the video, and I like his effort and how he's improved as a player. So, what other questions?
Yeah, Coach, how does the touchdown that was called back in the third quarter kind of affect the team's mental and in the fourth quarter? Did that kind of play?
I don't know. I mean, affect me because I'm pissed, but like it's affected, I don't know. I mean, look, he was down. He was down inside the 1 yard line. Still doesn't matter. It was 1st and goal inside the 1. All right, there's no excuse to not have a touchdown there, regardless of whether that was, you know, 1st and goal inside the 1 or if that would have been 3rd and goal inside the 1. You know, the ball's inside the 1 yard line. It's got to be a touchdown. And, you know, if that did affect anybody mentally, then we've got work to do there in that regard because, okay, we jacked that up at 17-13. We have an entire quarter to play. And for that entire quarter, we had the ball at the 50-yard line the entire quarter and didn't get the ball across the end zone. And so, you know, it's credit to their defense on that, but also we had enough execution errors in there that we needed to definitely clean up. So we've got a lot of work to do.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thank you.
There's no other players in here.
Yeah.
Wyatt, how frustrating is it to have all those opportunities, you know, to hold them to 0 points in the second half and not be able to pull this game out?
I mean, it's frustrating that we gave them 17 points, you know. That's on defense. So it's all good. We're going to, you know, go watch film, see what we can do better, look at our mistakes, and move on to BYU.
Well, as a senior leader, you know, you're leading your defense to do that in the second half. How do you also support your guys on the offense when they're struggling to in that situation?
You know, just get behind their back. You know, our guys always know we're gonna have their back. There's no pointing fingers around here. You know, we're all for each other, and this game is gonna show us. Like at points like this, you get teams that split, or you get teams that get tighter. And I can tell you for damn sure that we're gonna get tighter. So.
Why did their backup quarterback goes 8 for 8 to start the game? Why did he have so much success?
I don't know. He just had success, I guess. I don't know. No, we just got to be better in coverage, you know. That's all there is to it. What do you go for the rest of the game?
I'm not sure, but he was on target.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we just got to be better on defense. That's all there is to it.
What's the biggest difference between this year's defense and last year's defense?
Not a whole lot, honestly. We just got to pick our game up. That's all we got. That's all there is to it. We just we put ourselves in good. Like for me, for example, oh my gosh, I'm in a perfect position and I let up a 30-yard pass. Are you serious? So yeah, we're in position to make plays. We just got to make them. You know what I mean?
Why, with the 16 penalties through 2 games, I mean, how important is it for this group to kind of clean that up just going into this BYU game?
Oh yeah, we got to clean it up. You can't win games with a lot of penalties, so we're gonna do it. Coach is gonna get us right. Offense is gonna get right. Defense is gonna get right. It's tough 2 games, bad 2 games, both sides of the ball. So we're gonna lock in.
You may not be a captain, but you're a leader on this team. What do you say to these guys right now that are feeling probably pretty bad?
Like I said, like we got a lot of leads on here, and so we're all talking to each other. We all got each other's back. So someone gets down, you got to pick them back up.
When you walked off the field,
What changed for the defense in the second half? Looked like you guys were having a lot more success out there after the quarter time.
Like I said, like we locked in. Like I feel like the last week and then the first half this week, like we weren't locked in, and we're not even close to how good we should be on defense too. Is a crazy thing. We gotta pick it up for sure. So.
when you walked off the field, there was a lot of intensity. Can you kind of take me through what your mind was going through as you know?
It's just frustration, starting off the season 0-2, but that's in the past now, so move on.
How did you feel Andrew played besides you today?
He played fabulous for his first start. He played very good. I'm very happy for him.
Questions for Andrew Johnson?
How did you feel today getting your first start?
Obviously I was excited to have an opportunity to go out and, play my game and have a chance, to obviously start and do it from that position.
Andrew, I know this isn't the outcome you wanted out of your first start, but every first start gives you lessons to learn. What did you think you learned most from today?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a new experience, and being the first one out there, it's a first for me, but I just say as a team, it's, coming together right now and getting better. It's a disappointing result, but end of the day, we're going to be a lot better than we were today.
Andrew, what are the nerves like coming into this one as a local kid, for one, and then for two, the wide receiver gets behind you on that play, right, and it gets overthrown. I'm sure you were thanking God for that. But then you also stopped the fake punt as well, so kind of a mishmash of good and bad today is what you kind of took from it?
Yeah, I like to look at it one play at a time. You're always going to go out and there's one play ahead of you, and you're going to play that the best you can. So you take that, whatever the result is, you have to move on from there and focus on the next one.
What does it mean to you to play for the state where you grew up in, playing for Wyoming? You signed your letter of intent in the governor's office. Can you kind of talk about what it means to write for the brand?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say playing as a local kid's definitely one of my biggest prides of my life, and being able to, come out and even in a disappointing result like today, just the fans and the atmosphere we have, it makes a huge difference. So. What's
the message in that locker room right now, Andrew?
It's not about pointing fingers at other people. It's not about you did this wrong. It's about looking at yourself, getting better, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at myself, see how I can get better tomorrow, get better Monday, and then I'm going to work on trying to help the dudes around me get better.
What was Saville's message to you guys after the game?
Very similar to what I just said. You got to go look in the mirror before you start looking, outwards. So focus on yourself, focus what you can get better at, and then everything will fall into place.
I assume, like most kids who grew up here, the hatred for the team that's coming up next. Do you feel like this team can get up for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this team, we're young, but we also have a lot of older dudes, a lot of veteran dudes. So we're going to step up when we need to, and I'm going to keep going back to it. We're going to get, one day better every day, and this next week, that's what we're going to focus on. So no matter who we're playing, next week, we're just going to prepare for them the same we do every week.
That's good. Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
I'm not sure that's
It does that every time. They sit there every time. Every time. It never reads the fingerprint.
Get some food.
Those are true.
Jay, obviously 0-2 start, and then kind of first of all, how do you want to see this team respond to these first two games?
I mean, honestly, it's pretty simple. It's just keep positivity within the team, trust and believe in one another, and then once Monday hits, it's back to it. So that's the only way we can respond right now.
What was the biggest difference between last year's defense and the start of this year?
I can honestly, I'd have to really sit down and think about it. But I think that we just got to keep believing in each other, which I know we will. We trust each other a lot, and I know that we'll get there.
How'd you like the tackling today compared to week one?
Definitely better for sure. I think that we just have to start out faster. And I know once Monday hits, we'll look at that, fix some things up, and get intensity within the first half, and like we did in the second half. So, yeah, we'll figure that out.
As a leader of this team, what's your message to your defense right now?
Just keep locked in and on your job. I mean, if you try to be a superhero, that's when things go bad. And we have good level-headed players on the defense, so I know that we'll get that done.
In that second half, your defense was doing everything you guys could to keep you in the game, and then the offense just couldn't get it going. Wyatt just came out and said this isn't a program that points fingers. And as a captain, how do you make sure that happens, that you stay unified?
Yeah, I mean, positivity, whenever you see somebody's head down, bring it up. I mean, words, affirmation is huge. And with the love and trust that we have on this team, and we believe in each other, I know that we'll get to the top soon, and it just takes time. And it's all about believing, and I know that we believe a lot, so we'll get that started on Monday.
Jay, why was it such a struggle to get to their young quarterback early in this one?
Say that one more time, my bad.
Why was there such a struggle to get to their young quarterback and maybe get him off his spot a little bit early in this one? I believe he started 8 for 8 in this game.
Yeah, just pressure. I mean, intent on the D-line, but I mean, at the same time, that's whenever we go back on Monday and we'll figure out kind of what we did wrong. Things we did good too, but at the same time, we got to point out those negative things and get there faster. So, I mean, we can't leave the perimeter guys guarding forever, so we got to just figure that out.
Shay, what changed for the defense in the second half?
I think we realized that the first half we started out pretty, not slow, but not as the full potential we could. And I think we just had a good positivity going into it, knowing that we were better than this. And whenever we went out there after halftime, we were like, let's lock it in, get the ball back somehow, which we didn't. But at the same time, we 3 and out a few times, and yeah.
Jay, obviously you decided to come back again this year. I mean, what's the frustration level after this 0-2 start, and how important is it for you to kind of turn things around quickly? Just as
yeah, I mean, 0-2 isn't what we want, but at the same time, I mean, adversity hits in football in every single program, and at the end of the day, we got to look at each other, believe one another, trust each other, and then get back to work. I mean, that's all we can do is just get back to work.
Shay, there was a ton of noise after the opener, of course, outside noise. It's only gotten worse today. How do you block that out?
I mean, whenever we sit in this room, it's just us. I mean, we're the ones that are on the field. So we have to look at one another and just, I mean, I said it multiple times, just trust each other. Just figure out ways to get the ball down or get the ball out, turnovers. So once Monday hits, we got to figure out how to do that. And with the veterans that we have on defense, I'm sure we will.
That's good.
Thank you, guys.
How are you guys doing? Good.
And then obviously a lot of benefits today, a lot of self-inflicted wounds. How hard is that to take? Especially, you got to be feeling really good getting the ball at the 50 there, thinking we're going to go down and score here.
Yeah, self-inflicted wounds can't happen. Got to be better. Something we got to really hit on this coming week, and yeah, just got to be better with that.
And I guess what are some of the main emotions that you guys are feeling just in the locker room after this one?
It's a bad taste in our mouth. Frustration, but we're kind of at the bottom, the bottom point. But like I've been telling all the guys right now, it's only up from here. So,
what is the identity of this offense?
It's more of a balanced offense than last year. It's a young group that really needs to prove themselves and prove who we can be. And I know that they're more than capable of doing that. So
As a leader on this team, what is your message to the offense and to our team?
We just got to stick together at this point in time. I'm going to improve. We all have to improve. We know that. Moving forward, just constant improvement.
Evan, as you look at your own performance in this game, where do you feel like you could have done a little bit better, and maybe where do you feel like you excelled?
I think just pushing the tempo of the offense. I feel like the run game was pretty solid. I felt like we did a great job. I think the biggest thing to work on and kind of focus on is get the ball out quicker, get through my reads quicker, and just can't take as many sacks. So it's all on me.
And with that penalty, or the touchdown that kind of got called back, and then obviously the false start after that. I mean, how much did that hurt the momentum, and did that kind of affect the rest of the game?
I'm going to be honest, it didn't seem like it affected us that much. It's a penalty, whatever. We're going back 5 yards. There's no excuse for that. We got to punch it in down there when we're that close, when we're that close to scoring. It's no excuse. We got to punch it in.
Evan, Coach Sawbell said he wanted you guys to bring brass knuckles and a tire iron to this game. Do you feel like you guys did that?
Yeah, I feel like we went out there. I think got to show it even more. Just got to play Cowboy tough even more. I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.